Hey guys, I'm Adam.
I'm Ryan.
And this is Two Neighbors. Ryan, what do we got going on today?
Alright guys, so fun one today. This is Canada versus the United States. Who would win? Army military competition, guys.
Oh gosh.
So
I think I already know the answer to this one.
Off the top of my head, I'm like, I'm pretty sure, based on military might, the United States would take it. But you know what? It's so funny. I have a lot of American friends, tons of American friends. And the one thing that always seems to come up in conversation is, you guys are so lucky to have us protecting you as Big Brother. But we do have a pretty good military, never lost a war.
We have
Just throwing that out there.
We have great negotiating skills. That's what it is. You guys have all the, muscle, but we like to talk and work it out. So that's what Canada brings to the table, and I think that's good. And if Canada and the US were to go head to head, we might be able to talk our way out of it.
Yeah. or at least hope that, you wouldn't be able to find us on the map. No offense.
For sure.
Honestly though, guys, we love the States, and it is pretty cool. Honestly, guys, being in Canada, we don't invest a whole lot of military. We have a good military, but we don't invest a ton into it. But it is nice to know. You know what? It's kind of like going into your first day of high school, and you're a little bit nervous, but at the end of the day, you're not really nervous. Because your brother's 225 pounds, and in the last grade of high school, they're to protect you. So that's what we got going for us.
I believe the last time that Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Joe Biden met, we were instructed by the American government that we need to increase our spending by 2%.
By 2 whole percent.
I think 2 whole percent of what our budget is for military. So I think we're on the road to doing that. We bring what we can.
We'll probably get up over $1 million a year now. Canadian dollars.
Yeah, Canadian dollars. So guys, before we hit this video, please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We really do appreciate it, and don't forget to turn on the little bell for notifications. We put out videos every single day, so we don't want you to miss them. And we really do appreciate all the support we've been getting. We've been getting a lot of subscriptions, a lot of views, and it makes us want to do more and more content for you guys, and think of new ways of delivering content to you. So we really do appreciate it, and we're doing our best to get some fun stuff heading your way. And also what helps is check out okanswag.com, punch in Two Neighbors in the coupon code at checkout, and you'll get 20% off some sweet Canadian swag like this and the stuff below. Punch in Two Neighbors, 20% off, plus free shipping, and pay no tax. Now delivering to US and Canada only for free.
Cool. And we're gonna get started here, guys. I just want to say before we do it, we poke fun at the Canadian military, and we joke around sometimes about some US overspending possibly in their military. But at the end of the day, guys, hats off and thank you very much to all the people that serve. It's not easy. I got some friends in the military, guys. It's not easy. It's a tough life, especially for career members. But guys, thank you very much. At the end of the day, we realize your sacrifice is what gives us the freedom that we all have today. So thank you very much, guys. Two Neighbors appreciates it. And
without further ado,
now let's all hear about how Canada would whoop the US, right?
For millions of years, the northern half of North America has remained bonded together, while other present continents were busy breaking off from the supercontinents of the past. Trade routes ran through both countries throughout the centuries, and still today the US and Canada, in terms of imports and exports, are heavily reliant on each other. Economic ties, the European influence, democratic governance, to some extent an intermingling of religion and culture, and of course English as the dominant language, make the two nations part of the same family. Nonetheless, as most Canadians and Americans will tell you, the two countries are also very different in many ways. One big difference is how the nations have developed in terms of defense. Today, we thought we'd compare them militarily in this episode of the infographic show, the USA versus Canada.
All right.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. The United States of America declared its independence from Great Britain on July 4th, 1776. Canada became a self-governing country on July 1st, 1867, but it wasn't until the Canada Act of 1982 that the British ceased to have any influence on the Canadian Constitution. These two bordering nations each have a massive landmass, with Canada being the second biggest nation on Earth behind Russia. Canada's 3,855,100 square mile landmass, however, is not too much larger than fourth placed USA. America's landmass is 3,705,407 square miles, and of course China is the world's third largest nation. Given the size of these giant nations, you may not be surprised to hear the Canada-US border is the longest border in the world at 5,525 miles long. While there were disputes in the past over the demarcation of land in some border areas, as borders go, the USA-Canadian divide has seen few conflicts. The only time the two countries went head-to-head was in 1812, when Canada, as a colony of Great Britain, became embroiled in the latter's spat over USA expansionism. Since that time, the countries have been the best of allies. In fact, the necessity of safe trading routes and an amiable relationship allowed both countries to prosper. After China, Canada is America's biggest trading partner, while for Canada, the US is its main trading partner. The USA has a much bigger GDP than Canada though, as we all know. Its 18 trillion plus GDP is the biggest in the world, whereas Canada's GDP is said to lie in 10th place on the list at $1.53 trillion. The US is regarded as having the world's strongest military, and with a $611 billion defense budget, about 3.3% of the GDP, America outspends the rest of the world by a mile. Canada, a country not often exalted for its military prowess, spends around $15.5 billion on defense, which is around 1% of the GDP. This, however, will soon change. It was reported in June this year that Canada will increase military spending to $32.7 billion in the next 10 years. Canada's defense minister, Harjit Sajjan, was quoted as saying, "If we are serious about Canada's role in the world, then we have to be serious about funding our military." Now let's take a look at where all the money goes. The US has a population of 325 million people, 1.3 million of whom are active military personnel, and a further 811,000 acting as reserve personnel. By comparison, the Canadian military is minuscule, with 95,000 active frontline personnel and another 51,000 working as reserves. Canada's population is just over 35 million. Size does matter, and while the Canadian Army is low in numbers, its special forces are said to be some of the most skilled soldiers in the world. In terms of land equipment, the US weapons cache of arms is almost unparalleled. The country has around 5,884 tanks, 41,000 armored fighting vehicles, 1,934 self-propelled guns, 1,299 towed artillery, and 1,331 multiple launch rocket systems. Canada has 80 tanks, 3,004 AFVs, 0 SPGs, 161 towed artillery, and 0 MLRSs. Their arsenal, however, consists of mostly modern equipment. Canada's main battle tanks include a fleet of German-made Leopard 2A4s and Leopard 2A6s, some of the most advanced tanks ever created. Canada has also just been hailed as a great innovator of military equipment for developing what's been called a Terminator-like weapon. According to military analysts, the Canadian Defense Research and Development Organization has created the weapon of the future in its Soldier Integrated Precision Effects System, Supergun, or Smart Gun. Nonetheless, intelligent rifles might not be enough to hold back America's thousands of highly rated M1 Abrams battle tanks, a proven machine that has clocked a vast number of work hours. The USA is also spending big on developing its own super tank, the M1A2 SEP V3. The Royal Canadian Air Force is also somewhat outmatched in the skies when compared with the United States Air Force. Canada has a total of 414 military aircraft, 60 of which are fighters/interceptors, and 64 that are fixed-wing attack aircraft. The country has no attack helicopters. Its cream of the crop is its 103-strong fleet of American-made multi-role fighter, the McDonnell Douglas CF-18 Hornet. The Canadian government has also mulled over the purchase of the American F-35 stealth fighter, although that will come at some cost. Perhaps with the 70% increase in defense spending, Canada may have the aircraft in its sights. The USA outguns any other air force and is pretty much spoiled for choice in terms of inventory. The US has around 13,444 aircraft, many of which are touted as the world's best. This includes legions of F-22A Raptors, F-16 Fighting Falcons, F-15E Strike Eagles, and the notoriously expensive F-35A Lightning II. The US also has a large fleet of the McDonnell Douglas CF-18 Hornets, some of which have been converted to FA-18E Super Hornets. Canada's naval strength is rather small in comparison to the giant of the US Navy, although the Royal Canadian Navy has fought many battles over the years and is currently in the process of enlarging its fleet. The RCN consists of 0 aircraft carriers, 12 frigates, 12 coastal defense vessels, 4 patrol submarines, and 8 unarmed patrol trading vessels. The US has 11 aircraft carriers, 22 cruisers, 67 destroyers, 8 frigates, 75 submarines, 0 corvettes, 9 amphibious assault ships, 11 mine warfare ships, and 55 patrol ships. It's also developing its multi-billion-dollar behemoth, the Gerald R. Ford-class supercarrier. As for nuclear capabilities, Canada does not have its own nuclear weapons, although it contributes to America's military programs. Canada is also protected under NATO's nuclear umbrella. The US, on the other hand, along with Russia, owns almost half of the world's 15,000 nuclear weapons. 1,800 of these weapons are currently deployed. Superguns and weapons of mass destruction aside, these two countries share a long-lasting partnership when it comes to their defense strategies. The US and Canada are the only two countries outside of European nations that belong to NATO. Together, the two friendly neighbors have formed an alliance that combines one huge military force. This is recognized in official pacts such as the Binational Organization, the North American Aerospace Defense Command, the Combined Defense Plan, and even the sharing of military resources in times of natural disasters under the Canada-US Civil Assistance Plan. Besides the skirmish in 1812, the two countries have enjoyed arguably the most peaceful border relationship on the planet. Canada and the US are the closest of allies, culturally intertwined, and from an economic standpoint, reliant on their buoyant trading relations. We hope you've enjoyed this tale of two brotherly nations.
What up, America?
Cool.
I was a little bit off with my percentages there.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I could have sworn it was 2%, but obviously not. But yeah, we are minuscule compared to the U.S.
But you know what? Like I said, when you got the big brother down there with was it like 7,000 nukes? It's like, yeah.
That's scary. That's like a scary figure, thinking that there's just like nuclear warheads just sitting there. Like, you know, could go off anytime. Like, you know, if like artificial intelligence like was able to like just suddenly like we're launching and killing the human race.
Real Terminator.
It is.
So, you know,
shit's real, man. It's gonna happen.
We have a lot of pride, obviously, in our military, as small as it may be. And I will say, like, you know, there is a point of pride where, like, anytime there's that conversation, America and the U.S., Canadians are always first to bring up the War of 1812, the only time we faced off against the U.S., and Canada did win that war. However, very interesting fact, not a lot of people know this, it's an interesting read if you guys want to check it out. The reason that Canada was able to win that war, believe it or not, was the U.S. had to put together funding to fight that war. So they didn't have the military budget they had today. And they managed to get funding from a private landowner, one of the biggest private landowners in Canada and the US. And he just happened to own almost all of the land from Kingston all the way to Quebec. So he said, I will give you this money to fight, but you cannot attack on any of my land, which basically made them attacking Canada way more difficult, meaning they had to attack through difficult terrain, through the Niagara Escarpment and through the Toronto area.
I know that.
And because of that, Canada basically knew, well, we're not going to get flanked because they're not going to come in over there. We know they can't do it. This guy basically said, you cannot fight on my land.
Yeah. So
they were forced to do that. So Canada was able to focus all their defenses in that one area, and we held off the attack. And that's why we're here drinking Tim Hortons and we say a lot instead of being all American here. But yeah.
See, guys, this is why, like, I mean, we're not just a reaction channel, we're a history channel at the same time. Ryan's full of knowledge when it comes to, like, you know, war history. So you come to the right spot for a little of everything. Didn't we burn the White House down?
We did. Sorry about that, boys.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, we really like this video. If you have a suggestion of a video that you think we should check out that are along the lines of this, please send it our way. Hashtag my request down below with the URL link. And check out okanswag.com, punch in 2 neighbors in the coupon code at checkout, and you'll get 20% off plus free shipping and pay no tax. Great stuff. Yeah, no, for sure. Ryan, what else should these lovely people do?
Like, share, and subscribe, guys. So hit that like button, share with your friends. When you hit the subscribe button, make sure you turn on that little bell for notifications. We post new content every single day, guys, and you don't want to miss it.
That's it for our show today, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Later, guys.